I am going to demonstrate how you can take an Excel file that has data in it, in this format, and upload it into Power BI and then begin to create some reports, some dashboards, some visualizations. It was hard to try to figure out where, what a starting point was to try to do all the things that were in the video other than picking sort of like a live data endpoint. So let's start. The first thing you should do is go in here and probably create your column headings that has a description of your data. This one is a book type data that has a book title, the category, the author, the publisher, published date, the count, and it's got the data of various books in here. And this got the category and authors and publishers. So however you can get your data into Excel, you can use that data to create your reports and visualizations. So the next thing you should do is, once you have the data into Excel, is to go in and select the cells and headers that you want to use for your Power BI report and hit Control T, and that will give you the option to create a table out of it. I think typically Power BI Desktop wants this particular format in your Excel file in order to make it work. So hit OK on that. The option My Table Has Headers was selected, and now we've got like a table within Excel that represents our data. All right, so we'll call this books for the sheet. Now next, what we should do is go to Power BI and open up the Power BI desktop. You probably have to go and subscribe to a 60-day free trial in order to get this to work, unless you already have like an enterprise license with the company that you work with. So first thing we're going to do is let's actually go in here and do File New, and we'll just start this from scratch here. And let me make sure while this is loading that I've actually saved this particular file. Alright, so come to here, ask you a bunch of questions. Don't need that. Maximize this. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is to get the data. So click on this home header or home tab and click on this Get Data toolbar button here, and we'll say the data that I want to get is from Excel. There's other data sources, text, XML, JSON, folders, and I think there's other. It's possible to also get it from APIs, but that's a different. That is a different demo. All right, so let's double click on Excel and find our Excel file. This one I put in Power BI demo. Double click on that. It's connecting, and what it's going to do is it's going to give you an option to connect to a particular sheet in that Excel file. So my stuff is in books. It sort of gives you a preview what's in there. Hit load, and that data is effectively loaded in your Power BI file here. So as you can see on the fields here, it'll sort of give you the data that it knows about, which is books, all the fields that are in there. So a really quick thing to bring up is a table view of this data. So just click on this table, it's called visualization, and it will add that visualization there. And let's expand it out. You can just hover over this right bottom corner and drag it down to make it bigger. Right now there's no data in there. So for values, let's pull in some things in here. Important thing is probably the book title, and you notice it automatically populates all of that data for you. Author is probably a good thing to have in there as well, so let's drag it into the values folder or values section there. So let's click the component again, or the visualization. Publisher, what's a good one? Publisher, and the date it was published. Pretty typical information that you would probably put on a website somewhere. So Let's do that. And that is pretty much there. And you can hit save on this particular file, and let's just put it under Power BI Desktop. No, that's not it. Let's see. Where can I put it? Documents. Let's put it under C drive. I think I have a Power BI folder. It is not there. Let's try it again. Documents, Power BI. I'll just put it here as book. Save that. All right, so that's the basic of that. Just real quick. Well, I'll do that in a minute, but I'm going to show how you can sort of do other visualizations in order to get some meaningful sort of counts and just a meaningful perspective on your data. So the next thing that you do is there's this publish button here in this home toolbar, and just click on that, and what it's going to do is if you have Office 365 and you have Power BI available to your organization, it's going to allow you to select from various areas that you might have set up. Your workspace is your default sort of area when you log into Power BI from the web. So here, let me actually do that. Here I have, in our organization, I have a workspace and I've got all these different dashboard reports and data sets. So for this one, I'm just going to select my workspace, and it's going to upload this data set and this particular report into our Power BI sort of portal that's within your workspace. And then I'm going to actually rename this to something meaningful. Just double click on that tab, and this is a report page. So let's call this just books, and then let me publish it again. Save, and then select, replace. It's already a data set there. All right, so let's go to our portal, and it'll just let me know that, hey, somebody has uploaded a data set. In data set, this is book, and this means it contains the data that's coming from your Power BI file there, and you've imported the Excel sheet. So it also creates a report. We've got this thing called book. When you click on it, it's going to go to the report, and voila, we've got our sort of data visualization here, which is just a data grid essentially. What you don't get is there's nothing in the dashboard. So what you can do is once you go to this dashboard page, hit click create and create a dashboard, and we'll call this books. Pretty straightforward. And now the question is, how do I get this my visual things from my reports onto my dashboard? So you just click on your report that we've uploaded via Power Desktop into your Power BI workspace. Click on that, and there's a couple things you can do. You can either pin this whole report, or you can pin an individual component within the report. Any visualization that exists in the report or the report itself, and it could be other things too, you can pin to your dashboard. So let's do, I just want to pin this particular grid to my dashboard, and I don't think you can do this from Power BI Desktop. You have to do it from the website. I could be wrong. But so you click on that pin, and it tries to pin it to, you can create a new dashboard or use an existing one. For our case, let's use books. So pin, and then you can go to your dashboard, and there it is. Your dashboard now contains that particular visualization that we created, which is our books. And that's, you can go to the report from here. You can click on the visualization to take you to the report. You can also go in, and I thought you could just focus on the report too. Detail. Oh, open and focus mode. So this means that it's, you can have your visualization can be small within your dashboard. But what you can do is, okay, let's see. It sort of does this auto sizing too. So your visualization could be small. You can click on that and say open in focus mode, which means that you're focused on nothing but that particular visualization. So that's a real quick way to get your data from Excel into Power BI Desktop, into your workspace in your Power BI portal that is part of your company's organization. And then you can go in and like, hey, I want to share, you can share this particular dashboard. Actually, let's see. Or you can actually share anything that's within Power BI sort of portal. And I'm trying to get to my daggone dashboard. Okay, that was a dashboard, but you can probably share this particular one. Where is my share button? There it is. You can share this particular dashboard with the rest of your team, or the company, the rest of the company. So pretty straightforward. And I'm going to do some other things, some other cool stuff in here that you can do within Power BI. So back to this Power BI desktop, deselect the component and then click on this visualization. We'll just do a stack column chart, and it's pretty straightforward. Again, the data that you've been dealing with is in this particular data set or data source. And what we'll do is on the x-axis, let's put in like the author, and this is going to tell us sort of drag the authors down here, and then on the value, let's take a look at book title maybe. Oh, here we go. No, not that one. What did I do? Control Z. I accidentally did a category hierarchy, which I did not want to do. Let's go and remove this real quick. Delete. Click delete, because I don't want that. All right, author, and let's put in book title into the value. See what that does. I think it should give you the count. Legend, book title. All right, so what it's Power BI is pretty smart on sort of how it interprets what you're trying to do. So when I drag the book title there, obviously book title is not really a value, but it's the count of those book titles it's going to give you a numeric value. So it went in and said, hey, for each author that we have, let's go in and give it the number of book titles that each author authored. So that's one cool thing you can do. You can also do this pie chart. Actually, you can copy this, Control C and Control V to paste it, and you can change the visualization type. So you can automatically get like this pie, which again, it's sort of a little bit smart. It might give you percentages, like it gives you the count of books, one. That doesn't look right to me for some reason. Let's try it again. Count of book title is 1, 12.5%, 12.5%. What's the count of this one? Yeah, that doesn't look right. So Harper Lee should have had 2. It didn't quite calculate it correctly. So let's take a look at and see why. Values, legend is author, details. That's a weird one. Visually it looks right because there's 2 of these and then everybody else has 1. So it split up the pie correctly, but the title isn't, or the tooltip isn't correct. So let's do book title. Let's take a look and see. It says count. That's what it is. Count, just count. Show value as % of grand total. There we go. Maybe that will. Oh, it's still not there. 12.5, 12.5, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 12 is 72, plus half of that is 30. Yeah, it didn't calculate it correctly, but visually it looks correct. So We'll figure out why that doesn't seem quite right there. But let's see if we hover over this. It says count is 2. So it knows for this one, the stack chart here, that it's correct. So let's do another thing is called a matrix. And the matrix is sort of a good way to sort of categorize, sort of create a hierarchy of data. So let's take a look at rows, and we'll go in and say, hey, let's make the rows as one, or category as one of the rows, and it can break things up sort of in a hierarchy and add author as the next one. And then for values, let's take a look at book title maybe. Values, book title, there we go. And let's, you'll notice like one of the things that's in here, can I zoom in? How can I view? Zoom in, view. Alright, it won't let me, or doesn't want to cooperate with the zooming. Oh, here we go, page view. Let's do actual size, and that might give us a bigger view of that. Alright, so here, there's a couple of ways to navigate through the data. One is to just go down one child. So if you do this to the next level, it'll show you the author and then the book titles that this author has. Or you can do sort of like this tree navigation, which sort of shows you the current level and then shows you the next level at the same time. So you have classic, Harper Lee, Jane Austen, and it has this first book title, which means that there could be multiple books that was written by Harper Lee in the drama section. It's just going to give you the very first one. I wonder if it's possible to, I guess we could just do count too, but I don't necessarily want to do it that way. But you could probably add book title as another row. I'm not sure what good that will do, but this is really good for summing things up. Like if I wanted to know how many pages did how many pages does this particular author write, then I can go in here and do a page count, and let's see what that does. Values here, so this will tell you like the total pages that pages in any book that Harper Lee wrote or authored in this classic category. But if I go up here, we have classic, drama, fantasy. This will tell you the total page count that any author wrote in this classic category. So let's do this tree sort of breakdown. We've got that. That's pretty much as far down as it goes. And again, you can add other rows here to give you that hierarchy of data. All right, I think that's a pretty good starter. Well, actually, before I end this, let me go back here and save it and then publish it again. Let's go back to home and publish and hit select. And again, replace the existing data set that's out there, and it's going to replace the existing report, obviously. Success, so we can go back to here. Where are we at? All right, we can go back to here and take a look at our report again. And it should have our other visualizations. So we can take this and again, pin it to books, pin that. And then we can pin this guy. And we can also pin this, and we can probably just, can we edit it here? I can do edit report from here for now. And actually the website has also got pretty good tools in order to sort of modify some of the reports that are out there. But there are functionality that the Power BI desktop has that the website doesn't have, a lot more better sort of customization of the data. If you had a URL or an image that you wanted to display, you can't necessarily do that from here. If you wanted to do like special queries to combine different columns or do different calculations, I don't think that functionality is here, but it's definitely in Power BI Desktop. So let me go ahead and, the reason I changed this size is so that by the time it gets to be pinned, it's sort of a usable, well-formatted visualization. So now I'm in this, in the report, and now I can go to my bookmark, save my changes, and I can go to my bookmark or my dashboard and see all the visualizations that I put there. And you'll notice like the order that this is in is not the same order that it was in the report. So I can go in and sort of change how everything looks here. It doesn't have to match what's in the report. I can take, put a bunch of them side by side like that. I can put the page count on this side, resize it a little bit. So the dashboard is a little bit different from the report itself in that you can take different sort of elements in there and arrange however you want. And obviously you can pull different visualizations from different reports and put it into your one dashboard. The other cool thing that you can do is you can go to your reports and actually pin the whole report. So go to here and do pin live, go to your report and pin live page, and that will be pinned automatic, or it will pin the whole report into your dashboard. So I'm selecting books as where to put that particular report. So now if you scroll down, you actually see the report itself. And it's, this is okay if you want to sort of have that kind of work process where you're just working on the report. This is what it's going to look like in Power BI, and you can modify things in Power BI, and it's exactly when you take that whole report and put it into your dashboard, this is what it looks like. But if you were pulling from various reports, depending on your needs, then you would pin the individual components to your dashboard. So another cool thing that Power BI has is this ability to sort of filter data based on user actions. So I can go to this pie chart here and click on Harper Lee, and what it will do is it will sort of like filter, like this data grid was filtered. Only the authors from Harper Lee is going to be included in that result. And then it also went in and sort of highlighted and sort of unhighlighted or just minimized the visual visibility of these other components. So I selected Harper Lee. I can select William Golding, and it's going to update and sort of highlight the data that's within that, other visualizations within the dashboard, or even within the report. So if you take a look at this tree, this matrix that we created as well, it's going to sort of filter the data that belongs or doesn't belong there. And I think you can use Control or Command to include more or less data. So, and you can also just click the same data element that you were used to filter, and that will remove the filter. So pretty cool stuff, not a lot of work. I didn't have to do any work in order to sort of make that happen for the user. I think there's a lot of stuff in there. The main thing I want to do was get your data from your Excel file, import it into your Power BI desktop, add some basic visualizations, and then upload this particular data set and report up to your Power BI portal, and then pin different visualizations or even entire reports to your dashboard. So I hope you find this a little bit of a guide to just how to get started using Excel files in Power BI. Thank you guys.